Hello, how are you? Uh, Today is another day, and I want to talk about Senegal. We are all aware of what has happened in Senegal, and what has happened in Senegal should be an encouragement to everybody Africa, Europe, America, everywhere, South America. We should be happy, and we should understand that both right wing and left wing politics are being applied depending with the situation in each country. Uh, I want to discuss the reason why I want to discuss this election of Senegal, and especially I want to discuss the win of Faye, is because he was a very humble man. Actually, in many countries, he cannot win. For your information, I don't think Faye before election he could have been compared. He could have been called even like middle income. Yeah, the people are always disillusioned and they say that they don't take politics as an interesting thing. Politics does not affect them. And in real matter, especially in many countries, actually people who are usually devastated by politics are the middle income. So Faye is not a super rich individual. Maybe I can show his profile a little bit. He is a he is an ordinary man to state. He is just an ordinary man, but a guy with a serious who is really blessed. So this is Fire. As you can see there, Fire was he is born 1980. This is Fire. You can see him there. He is 44 years old. His party is called the Socialist Party of Senegal. Along, he was a member of Socialist Party, the way it is written. And if there is one thing which we can pick here is like both there are some countries in West Africa because Senegal is in West Africa. There are some countries in West Africa which are restoring democracy, and still there are also some others which are going the coup way. But in the two channels, changes are coming, and I think even France needs to reevaluate their relationship with much of these many countries. I think they have to re-engineer how they interact with these people because I think from foreign point of view, I think Western people from Africa, I think they are tired with how maybe the other governments, which most of them they have been like puppets of France. They have been operating. So I think to some extent France has to look for how they can do some good deals with these people. Otherwise, they might end up losing the the whole region because of a strong stand. It doesn't mean that people don't want to do business. No, people want to do business. People want to relate with each other, regardless of where you come from. People still want to relate with France, even in West Africa, but they want equality and respect and improvement of their lifestyle. And this Fire, actually, he was in prison 10 days before the election. Uh, but in his campaign, or for him to win, there is a man called this man here. There is this man called Osman Sonko. And I think this name Sonko is very famous. Even in Kenya, we have many Sonko. There is, I think this Sonko is a blessed name. If you possess this name, I think you need to owe this name with a lot of dignity. So this guy, Usman Sonko, who is a little bit older, 49 years old, he's not very old, by the way, but he is the guy who started fighting the government. And he is an ordinary tax collector. That's why I'm calling this guy the middle income guy from Senegal. So he is just an ordinary middle income guy. And that's why we need to discuss, can middle income people change the dynamics of their politics in their countries? Because actually middle income are the people who cry most when things are not moving right. They can't afford rent, they can't afford food, they can't afford school fees. There are so many things which affect them. And I think whatever has happened in Senegal is a lesson that middle income can actually rescue themselves instead of relying on the super rich, who to some extent also, they don't listen to their grievances. So who is Usman Sonko? Usman Sonko has been a very vibrant politician in Senegal for quite some time. He vied in 2019, but he was not successful. Macky Sall was lucky and he was still able to win. But along the way, he did some whistleblowing. There was some money which was getting lost in the tax issues as a tax collector. So he did a whistleblowing, and I think it was ratified by people that maybe it could be true. And through that, he was able to build an opposition. He was able to emboss himself to people. And the young people of Senegal were able to love him. And he was able to build a coalition of dejected people. And his coalition started growing. And the current president now, Mr. Faye, was part of a youth leader within the opposition wing led by Usman Sonko. So, but Usman Sonko was jailed because of the government talked so many things about him, and the government sometimes they can incriminate you, especially when they want to cripple you. So Usman Sonko was jailed. Then after Sonko was jailed, we had this Faye, who also was jailed some days before the election. It reached a time whereby the president of Senegal, the one who had just gotten out, Macky Sall, he wanted to postpone the election. I think he wanted to earn himself some days in power up to December. But we had some season, we had so much seasons of turmoil in Senegal, such that it was impossible for the election to be delayed any longer. And in March 14, it was agreed that the election had to be done. And Sonko was unable to vie because, first of all, his party was dissolved. Nothing could be, he couldn't do anything. But Sonko had people, he had still the momentum. So, luckily, Sonko and the Faye, and that's why I want him also to talk here to emphasize the importance of friendship. And the reason why, when you are a good friend to somebody, you don't win. When it comes to fighting the same cause, you don't lose when it comes to fighting on the same cause, on the same front. So, Sonko's issue was he wanted the government gone, including even the puppet who had been brought by the outgoing president or the former president. So, but he is not able to vie. But how can we still achieve the same results of winning the election? Let's support somebody who has credibility. And because Faye and Sonko, they had good friendship. And also Sonko believed that Sonko, who is the owner of people, if I may put it that way, the people's president in Senegal, because of their good friendship, he still believed that his issues and the interest of the people could be propagated by Faye, Diomaye. And that is how Faye was able to move from a point whereby no one knew him to a point whereby he was competitive electorally, to the point whereby he was able to challenge government machinery and the people who had been brought by the government, and actually he won the election. Faye had no money. What he had was an idea and willingness of telling Senegalese what he can do for them, and hoping that he will be able to implement his manifesto, because he is talking of how he is going to deal with joblessness, how he is going to improve the relationship with the other foreign countries, especially France, and how he is going to put Senegal on a path of progressive politics. To me, in whatever he does, we will be looking at him. But there is one hope which I've gotten from Senegal, and I think many African countries we have to learn. Senegal has told us, let me put it, Senegal has taught us that the middle income people can actually change politics. And I think moving forward, we have to stop relying on the super rich people who only take care of fellow rich men. And we need to start giving power to people who represent majority. You know, one thing about the middle income people is that middle income people, that is where the bulk of the people are. And it's my hope that Faye could change the politics of Senegal. And I feel in many of African countries, we need to follow this trajectory. Middle income people, these people do not have a lot of wealth, but at least they can be able to afford a minimum basic of living. They have to start getting involved in politics. We will be able to change events. Like, for example, in my country, Kenya, I've never seen a time whereby we have not elected a billionaire. All the people who have been ruling us are people with money. To some extent, I think they might not understand our pride as a people. They might not understand our problems. I think in Africa, we have momentarily to abandon the super rich people, and we transfer politics to the middle income people, basic people who can understand our problem, and we give them power, and we analyze what they can do for us, how they can be able to bring us together. Maybe they have a concept of how they can be able to bring the whole middle income people together to change the nation. Because I believe in Africa, middle income people, they can play a very serious transformative agenda in changing and taking us to even second or first world. This idea whereby Africans cannot be talked as people who can do serious things in this life is not good. Africans, we have to place ourselves in a place whereby we can be first world, and we are. We have brains and we can think. So, and I think the middle income people are doing us a lot of disservice for not wanting to join politics. One country has showed us middle income is where politics is. Let's wake up and change our countries from the middle income. We do not need to be talking about these economic models which do not work. There are those countries which say you can do bottom up. There are those countries which say you can do top down. But I think the 2030 economic model will be from middle income up and down. That is the economic model which will work. Thank you.